Hey everybody, welcome to the Cosmic Panel. We just walked out of Blue Beetle. We're going to give you guys our thoughts on it. And be warned, this is a spoiler-full review. We're going to just be talking about this freely. So if you haven't watched the movie, you might not want to watch this video. Yeah. So let's start with our one-sentence assessments. Lucas, do you have a sentence or two to wrap up the film?
Yeah. Um, a classic joyride through the superhero genre, yet still hitting the same potholes.
Word. A representative superhero story that hits home, but also is sort of a light and fun superhero movie.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
It definitely suffered from, some old, superhero movie tropes that I don't think we have any need for at this point. The whole, like, I'm out of control scene,
Yeah.
Gets a little annoying. Also, the launching into the air and then catching self at last second is pretty silly. But yeah, what were your thoughts on some of the overused tropes?
Definitely didn't like the fact that they used basically a mirror version of the Blue Beetle, but at the same time, they did add some spice to it by like making it progress as the movie went on. If it was just the beginning one, I definitely would have just been like, okay, this is lame. But no, we got to see it like actually evolve as the film went on, and we got to see some pretty horrific body horror, um, which was not what I was expecting at all. But yeah, there was definitely a lot of tropes that didn't feel like it needed to be rehashed just for this. Like I didn't feel like, as much as I did like it, I didn't feel like the father needed to die. I felt like that was a little bit too much in my opinion personally. Like it was good, the scene was good, but did it need to happen? No. I think Jaime already had an idea of what he needed to do. He didn't need that extra kick of a death. But on top of that, like other than that, honestly, the plot's pretty light. It's not super crazy. The main villain is probably the weakest point, at least for me personally. I really don't care for her. She's so like cartoonishly evil to the point where I can't really invest in it.
I would argue that it's a realistic representation of a white corporate woman, or corporate boss. But it's very in your face. It's very extreme. I don't think it's completely unrealistic though. I feel like her calling that dude Sanchez and like
No,
just
definitely.
being a dick to people in general wasn't super unrealistic. She was just like extremely hateable, and had no redeeming qualities. You know what I mean? So there wasn't like any. You didn't really feel bad for her exactly.
I would have liked it if she was more passive aggressive than just being aggressive. I feel like
Yeah,
that would have sold her more for me. Just the fact that she would have been like, "Oh, what's your name, honey?" And then it'd be like, "What is it, Juan?" Or like something like that. Like something simple like that would have would have hit more than her just being straight up racist. Um, because that's what she is at multiple points in this fucking film. Um, and I feel like that's more of how white people act is like they don't even realize or they're just being passive aggressive about it. In comparison to just wearing it straight up. There are people that do that, but I feel like it's more common for people to kind of like sneak them in. Also, I will preface that I'm Latino, first generation American, and Olias is also. So we both understand. I think this definitely hits a little bit more for us, just because we do have that slight experience with that. Especially on my end, being a first generation American, my mom is a house cleaner, my dad's a construction worker. They work those jobs. Um, but like I've seen them work those jobs, and I've seen how people have treated them, and seeing that plus like the struggle of like not having documentation, not having this, that, it for me hit a lot. That sit down with the father where he was talking to Jaime and being like, "It's okay if you don't know what you're doing." That was probably for me the best scene in the movie, which is crazy because it happened really early on before any of the superhero stuff, and it like genuinely like hit me because I guess I definitely saw Jaime in myself because it was just he literally just graduated and I just graduated, plus he's like first or second generation. First, I guess, yeah, no, first. So it's you can easily relate to Jaime and the family are easily the best parts of the family, and when they're given the room to kind of either be comedic or just be themselves, I really think the movie shines. I also think the movie shines during the fight scenes, but outside of that, I don't really like the main villain.
I was gonna say on, on your notes of, mirror reflecting villain. At least it wasn't another Beetle. I'm just thankful for that.
Yeah, true.
I'm thankful they weren't just like Red Beetle, Evil Beetle.
Yeah, I was worried it was going to
you know,
download and just morph into a Beetle suit.
yeah, or some shit. So at least they didn't do that. Omac, I love Omac. I love the original, Omac design in the comics and stuff. And while, I've come to not expect straight up adaptations of comic characters and stuff like that, this design was not desirable to me at all. I get the one-man army corps, at least they kept that being the acronym. So the idea behind it was similar, and trying to create a military, but the execution wasn't quite there, unfortunately. It just becomes another like shout out reference to Omac that you're never gonna see again.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I thought it was a fun time. Again, nothing too heavy. Of course, there are dramatic moments, but yeah, I mean, I guess it really is, just a superhero for us kind of thing, and it accomplishes that, I think. And there's a lot of good comedy moments.
Yeah. George Lopez is bloodthirsty as fuck in this movie. He loves killing people.
Yeah.
The family loves killing people, let's be honest here.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Jaime. Jaime is the only one that has a moral conscience, apparently.
Yeah, he's the only one that hasn't killed someone.
Yeah, which is really funny because it's like, he's like, no, don't kill. And then 5 minutes later, it's like his grandma just mowing down people left and right.
Yeah. And he's like, you go, Nana.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say the visual effects looked really good. The suit looked phenomenal. Like, the suit is exactly what I wanted. The morph sequences were fucking horrific, but really interesting. They really sold the Beetle being in his spine. Also, the fact that it went up his ass is really funny to me. I
guess it was just exploring. I don't know.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. I was really not expecting that. But yeah, no. And then on top of that, like, you could tell the people that worked on the visual effects side definitely cared about these characters, at least Blue Beetle specifically, enough that they made frequent shout outs to his classic weapons, like the sonic gun, the staple gun, like stuff like that we have kind of intrinsically tied, as like people that read Blue Beetle, intrinsically tied to his character. The blades, like, it looked phenomenal.
Yeah, really, really cool weapon choices and stuff for him. Good use of the wings.
Yeah, the wings are
stuff
good.
like that. But yeah, no, they definitely took extra care when it came to designing Jaime's suit, so that was cool.
The most unrealistic part was that when Jaime was going through the bus, that no one was standing in the middle and just got immediately like fucking sliced. That was the most unrealistic part, because everyone was just sitting. Everyone was just sitting on the bus. I've never seen a bus like that. That was truly impeccable.
Yeah, pretty silly. I guess they just wanted a funny Invincible reference. um, yeah, I thought he did a good job. I thought he was fun. He had the right energy about him, you know.
I definitely liked it a lot, especially near the final battle. I definitely got that Jaime vibe that I like from the comics, where he's like a little bit cocky, and then he gets quickly put in his place, and then he's like, wait, please wait. It's like it was that exact like thing where he was like fighting Omak, and it was just like he was like, yeah, I'll show you this and this and that, and then he gets fucking hit once. He's like, whoa, okay, wait, can we chill? It was just really funny to me because that's exactly how Jaime is. He's a lot of bark. He's a lot of bark, and then the suit provides him the bite. But outside of that, he's not usually a very uh very able to handle himself in a fight.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I think there were some areas that maybe could have used some expanding. I would have liked a little more time at the Cord mansion or whatever the first time. Um, he had to take off pretty quickly to save the family that time.
I would have liked to see more
Um,
Cord in general.
yeah. Um, I guess they're saving that for a second story. I don't know. But it was good focus on him and his family for this one, building the foundation kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I would have liked if maybe like while George Lopez's character was like talking about Blue Beetle, they like showed a flashback or something of like Blue Beetle saving him at one point, like some, but like have the light something like block his face so that you don't obviously see who it is.
No, that's true. That's true. That would be good. Yeah.
Like it's him coming down from the Beetle ship or some shit like that. Like that would have been nice. A little neat little like okay, cool. Um yeah.
Yeah, just to establish it a little bit. Yeah, that's true.
This is the first technical movie after the Flash reset the universe, so it really does stand by itself. At least it doesn't rely on any other characters, which is good. I hate when origin movies rely on other characters. It shouldn't need to. It should be able to stand by itself. But outside of that, this is basically your average superhero romp. Like it's just it's good, but it's not great. It has a lot of cliches. Be prepared. Don't expect the most revolutionary thing imaginable. I like that what it was trying to do with the representation. I loved it. But it really did go ham fisted at times to the point where I didn't enjoy it. Which I can say because I am Latino, so I actually genuinely do have a voice in this opinion. Um, but like yeah, like I don't know, something about like the whole neighborhood just turning around the corner and coming over to the house was just so goofy to me. Just everyone with food, and it's like, oh well, we don't. I would say we can put it in the fridge, but opens the fridge, it's just everything's burnt.
Yeah.
Also, the death of the father didn't really affect anyone's comedy skills or anything, which I feel like I don't know. I feel like it wasn't.
Well, they were angry first, and
Yeah,
then and then cried later, which I liked. I thought that was
true. No, that is
I don't
true.
know. Yeah, because this very much stands on its own. I think the next James Gunn DC movies really need to make a conscious effort to build the universe, because last time, what happened was they had to jam all these characters in Batman versus Superman because they were rushedly building the Justice League. I just think that the next movies need to be a little less light and a little more like, here's the universe, superheroes exist, there's other heroes here already, like this is the new world. And I think they really got to drive that home, so that we don't just have a bunch of separate things. We're told that it's in the same universe, but it doesn't feel like it's in the same universe. Aquaman 2, I don't know what the fuck that's gonna be.
Yeah.
But like I just I'm really just hoping for a little bit more in these next films, because DC really has to pick it up. I think now's their time to do it. Everyone's experiencing MCU fatigue like crazy, so this is the time to do it. You know what I mean? They really gotta knock it out of the park.
Yeah, once Aquaman's out, I think definitely take your time, make sure Superman's good, make sure when it comes out it hits, because if you miss, that's it. It's over. Like I'm usually not the type to be like, oh, you make one mistake, that's it. But like this, the DC universe has stumbled way too many times, and this is their one chance to get it back on track. If they don't nail this, it's over. Like no one except for like hardcore comic fans, and even then, I don't even know if all of them would show up. And as much as we love comics, we have to admit that hardcore comic fans are harder and harder to come by. It's not a giant crowd, so you need, especially with like you said, the MCU fatigue, superhero fatigue. Give it that breathing room, give it that time, make people almost crave it again, and then come back with a vengeance. We do know the Superman film is going to have very, very hodgepodge characters like Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, but use them correctly. Don't just shove them in for cameos, make them legitimate characters, or make them world building tools. Don't just, oh, here's a Green Lantern, bye. Please use them. And I trust James Gunn, at least to this point. The question is about the rest of Warner Bros. How much will they? I know that he's the head, but like at the end of the day, he does still answer to fucking David Zaslav and all of them.
Yeah, I have a little bit more hope for like the shows and stuff like that. But in general, like they need to, I think, do more like human stories. I'm fine with less action if you give me legitimate, good characters that you're gonna build up, and you're gonna develop, and you're gonna make resonate with an audience. I would take a human target TV show over, a Flash film any day at this point.
Oh yeah, easily.
Just something that's more nuanced and not just superhero. Superhero gets their abilities and then they fight crime. Like, we need a little more variation, and both DC and Marvel have these stories to offer, but you're not adapting them yet because I don't know why. But the superhero movie fatigue is very much real. So
yeah, even I feel it at this point where I'm like, okay, like this is another film. We're hitting this. We're going in stride. But yeah, no, like I get tired of these just as much as the next person. Like, and like I rewatched the Batman, and I'm like, okay, that's a good. Like I have to sometimes like do stuff again just to like recalibrate. I guess is the best way to be like, no, this is like what it should be in comparison to this.
yeah.
Someone was pointing out, I know this is getting off topic of Blue Beetle, but real quick, someone was pointing out that they should really start the James Gunn universe with the Matt Reeves Batman, and like I know that people like don't want that, but at the same time, that would actually be like a really good starting point.
What do you mean? Like count that as part of the universe?
Yeah, and then build from there.
Yeah.
Like the Superman film be like set like, I don't know, 10 years later.
It's gonna be a while till we even get the second one. So
yeah. So I give this movie 3 aggressively white racist CEOs out of 5.
Yeah, I will give this 3 fry boxes out of 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, these have been our thoughts on the Blue Beetle movie. Go out in the theater, see what you think. Leave a comment below what you guys thought about it. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, support your local comic shop, and read some Blue Beetle comics.
See you.
Bye-bye.